Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm doing the 100 photo challenge with the Tamron 70-300. Hey guys, so before I start the video, I just wanted to say that we're very slowly creeping towards that 1000 subscriber count. Now, for smaller YouTubers like myself, reaching that 1000 is a very big deal. So if you're not subscribed yet, please consider doing so by pushing the famous red button somewhere down here below. Thank you. And just one more thing, I just wanted to highlight one of your comments as well in this video. Today's comment is by AJ Core TV, which is one of my long-term subscribers by now. And he says, I love how the music brings it all together. Do you use a certain music service to add to your videos? Okay, well, that's actually a very good question. Yeah, I do. I use a service that is called Audio. It's spelled with a double I instead of the single I. I've been using them since I relaunched my YouTube channel. They currently sell a package which is a lifetime membership for audio. So most of the companies that sell audio now for YouTube, they're all subscription based. This one isn't quite yet. I do think they will be in the future. So if you want to make use of this one, sign up now maybe. It's not a sponsor, I don't have any deals with them, but I definitely would recommend them. I've been using them for all of my videos that you've been seeing over the last 7 months. So yeah, check out Audio if you need some audio for your YouTube videos. Back to the video. Now, I bought this lens recently. Had been considering to buy a telephoto lens for quite some time, but I didn't want an expensive lens and I also didn't want a heavy lens because I don't use telephoto lenses that often, and I just want to have a light lens that I can justify taking with me even if I might not use it. So definitely think I made the right decision. I think the quality of this one might actually surprise you. So let's jump into the pictures and let me know what you think about the quality of this lens. Now, first picture is of one of my favorite subjects in this town. It's the buoy. Obviously, if you're someone who has been watching my channel for some time, you've seen pictures of this thing before. And while I was just walking around trying to get used to this focal range, because I don't use a telephoto lens that often, so I had to get kind of used to composition. But I saw this thing from a distance, took this shot, and I think it is quite nice. Now, what I think is good about this picture is the dark trees in the background and the plants in the foreground, which creates a lot of contrast in this picture. And your attention kind of instantly goes to the buoy in the middle of the picture. Now, I think with a bit of editing, I could have made this picture a little bit nicer as well. But I think for what it is, it's quite nice. And I'm quite happy with this one. Moving on to the second picture. Now, I think this is probably one of the worst pictures that I've shown, because if you zoom in, you can see that it's basically completely out of focus. But why I chose to still include this picture is because of this dog. Now, if you look at this facial expression, the way he looks back and smiles, I think it could be turned into a meme. If you want to, be my guest. But yeah, definitely not the best picture that I've shown you. But because of the dog, I think it's still a funny picture and I still wanted to show you. Now, next picture, which I think is picture number 3, is of this bird. And I had no idea what the name of this bird is. I still don't really know, but Google tells me that I think it's a cormorant, great cormorant. I'm not entirely sure if that's correct. If it's not, let me know what kind of bird this is. Yeah, I saw this guy on a lamppost and I was like, okay, how am I gonna frame this one? Because obviously it was up high and I had a limited amount of choices when it came to composition. But I decided to step right underneath it and risk it because, to be honest, birds like to shit on me all the time. It's happened before in one of my videos and I was very scared as I was underneath that it was gonna happen again. But the guy spared me, so I managed to grab a few shots, including this one, and I kind of like it. Now, what's most impressive about this picture for me is the sharpness. If I zoom into this picture and look at the sharpness of this lens, it's a cheaper telephoto lens, being a Tamron, but I was honestly quite surprised at how sharp this image is. Let me know what you think. Is it something that impresses you or not? I was quite impressed. Next picture Picture number 4. Now I obviously went to the harbor side of this town again because, I don't know, there's not too many places, so I just basically go the same route every time. And every time you kind of notice something different. Now with this 300mm lens, okay, 70-300, but you basically only use it at 300. I was looking around and I found this composition, took the shot, and when I was editing it, I actually thought, okay, this actually looks quite nice, and it's mainly because of the lighting in this picture. I like the lighting in the back. I'm not too sure why, but it just kind of speaks to me. I like that you still can see the boats in the background, and yeah, I was quite happy with this shot in the end. Next picture is picture number 5. Now next to my hometown there's this wooded area, or there's this forest, and there's this little ruin in there which used to be a castle from I think the 1100s, and as I was walking around it I was just looking at something that would make an interesting composition, and I decided to go with this one in the end. I think the main reason why I like it is because of the contrast in this picture. You have the dark trees in the back, especially the left side, and a little bit lighter on the right side, and in the foreground you have these little plants as well. I also like the lighting on the actual ruin itself, which I think creates a lot of depth. So yeah, definitely think this one was a success as well. Next picture, picture number 6, is of this little plant which has just come to life, and it's trying to reach out and grab as much light as possible. Now I saw this little guy come up and decided to make a picture of it, so I was basically almost laying on the ground to try and get this shot. And this shot also shows that even though with this lens, which is a 4.5 to 6.3 aperture lens, that you can still get nice background and foreground separation, I think that's still very acceptable for this lens. So I was quite impressed with that. Let me know what you think about that. Next picture is picture number 8, I believe. 7. Always lose count. I don't know why I don't number these things to make it easier for me. Picture number 7 is of this butterfly sitting on a flower. Now I was looking at this guy and praying to God that he would just stay there and allow me to take a picture, which he did. Managed to get I think 2 or 3 shots before it flew off, but chose this one as my favorite. And if I zoom into this picture, you can see what I mean also again by the sharpness. Now the sharpness is on the body of the butterfly and not on the wings. But look at the body of the butterfly, but also the plant on the left hand side. I think that's quite an amazing amount of detail for this lens, which is again not a very expensive lens. Yeah, definitely like this, and again shows you what kind of background blur you can get with a lens that's not a very low aperture lens, but still pretty happy with that one. Next picture is this one. As I was walking around taking pictures, this guy asked me to take a photo of his dog. So I took a few photos of the dog, also of them together. And I think this one is one of my favorites. Now it shows you the guy on the right hand side, but you don't necessarily need to see him completely, I think, because the focus is on the dog on the left hand side, and obviously the dog is not amused because he just wants to walk, and now he has to sit and pose for a picture. So definitely thought this was a nice shot, and I love the composition. If I zoom in to the dog, you'll see again what I mean when it comes to this lens. To be honest, I'm pretty impressed with this Tamron lens. It's very sharp, I think, and definitely should be considered if you want a smaller, cheaper telephoto lens for the Sony E-mount. Next picture is picture number 9, and this is just a picture that kind of shows my surroundings. I was walking around my hometown, but this is the area outside of my hometown, so you can kind of see what kind of area it's in. It's very rural. There's a lot of farmland around it, and obviously there's no mountains or almost no hills either in the Netherlands, so it's all very flat. So this is what I have to deal with if I have to take, or if I want to take landscape pictures. But yeah, basically you just have the farmlands there, some trees in the middle, and then you have the electricity wires going through the frame. Kind of like this shot, but it's a very typical Dutch scene, and you'll probably see a lot of this if you just drive through the country. Now, last picture is of this guy, which if you're a follower of this channel, you've seen him before, and he is in a lot of my pictures. Now, I perhaps take too many pictures of this guy, but I think this is one of my favorite pictures. If you've seen all of the pictures that I've taken from this thing, which one is your favorite? I think mine is this one. What I like about this picture is that on the left hand side there's this little path which creates leading lines towards this water tower, and I think it's a prime example of what a landscape picture should be. I like it. Let me know what you think. Is it one of the better ones of this water tower, or do you think maybe I had better ones in the past? So those were the 10 photos that I took. Let me know which one is your favorite, and I will see you next week.